Hello guys, it's Mir. Since the release of Arcade Edition, there's been some debate about the strength of characters and how their position on the tier lists might have changed. This has been especially true in light of Infiltration's recent achievements at EVO Japan and Final Round, showing his monoplay to the rest of the world. So the question I'm asking today is, what makes a character good, or if you will, what makes it top tier? First of all, I'll preface by saying that it's no easy job to determine which characters can be considered top tier. Every person has different opinions, and as such they might value certain things more than others when they're writing a tier list. The usual way of creating a tier list is organizing the characters based on their positive matchups, with the characters who have the most on top and then going down in a descending order. This of course doesn't take into consideration character difficulty, and it's subject to change quite a bit as more and more characters get released, but it tries to completely remove the human factor out of the equation to get the most accurate results. Others prefer to rank characters based on their tournament viability and practical results, considering ease of use and consistency more important than a theoretical approach. Clearly, even this method is not guaranteed to produce perfect results, as player matchups and personal skill are also extremely important into determining who will eventually win a match or a tournament. In this case, we'll try to take the more objective approach and look at things that can be, hopefully, universally agreed upon to determine one character's strengths and weaknesses. As a first step, we have to look at the amount of tools available to the character. In this case, by tool, I mean everything that the character has access to that can be effectively used in a match, like for example reliable anti-airs, invincible reversals, projectile invincible moves, even fireball themselves, and so on. Certain characters are built to be very versatile, and as a result they're able to comfortably deal with a variety of situations. A good example would be someone like Akuma, the ultimate toolbox character. Akuma has two different kinds of ground fireballs, a fast one and a slow, multi-hitting one, as well as an air fireball that he can use to cover his approach. He also has access to multiple projectile invincible moves like his teleport, his hurricane kick, and his EX demon flip, from which he has a variety of follow-ups. Akuma also has a traditional Dragon Punch, which you can use as an anti-air or in combos for additional damage. On top of all of this, he also has a wide variety of useful normals. For example, he can use his standing medium kick for whip punishing, his crouching medium kick to catch opponents trying to walk out of his pressure, his forward hard punch to bait throws and land a combo, or use his back hard punch for anti-airs and convert into more damage and ulti. Of course, the relative strength of these tools is a very important factor as well. Reliability and safety of use especially come to mind when trying to determine the usefulness of a certain move. A nice comparison would be looking at Gal's Sonic Boom and Ryu's Hadouken. While Ryu's Fireball is a motion, making it accessible at all times, as opposed to Gal's recording a charge, it is outclassed in all other departments like startup, recovery, or even advantage on hit and block. Both characters can zone with their fireballs, but it's clear that Gal will have an easier time doing it since his Sonic Boom is less risky to throw out than an Hadouken, while at the same time being more rewarding to land. Like I mentioned, ease of use can also be a factor. In fact, certain moves are specifically designed to have complicated motions to balance out their power or utility. Zangief's spinning pile driver and even his critical art are great examples of this concept. Although this is not as important at the higher echelons of play, it can still make a difference. Certain characters can be pretty demanding with their execution, at least when compared to the rest of the cast in SF5, making it more difficult for the players to perform optimally in a tournament setting where a drop input could make them lose the round or even the match. When writing tier lists, it is often assumed that the characters are being played at the highest possible level, ideally eliminating the execution element from the equation, but I would argue that it's still important to keep that in mind when reading such lists. After all, it's easier to reach this level of play with a simpler character rather than a complicated one. Of course, if a character's playstyle is especially effective in the current meta, that'll only make it rise in the tier lists. If SFV's meta favors aggression, then a character with strong offense and ability to stick to the opponent, like for example Cammy or Rashid, will be more successful. If the meta is more about neutral play and zoning, then characters with powerful pokes like Chun-Li or with a solid fireball game like Gal are going to see more play. Since meta is a big reason as to why certain characters are strong, it's key to understand how a character fares against the most popular picks. Having good matchups against the top tiers is going to be extremely helpful, as those are going to be the most common characters that you'll have to face. Something a bit more specific to SF5, but it is also very important to consider, is the V system. V triggers in this game come in two varieties, either 2 or 3 bars. Usually 3 bar V triggers tend to have more powerful effects or last longer compared to the counterparts, but have the downside of being slower to get. V-reversals tend to also come in two varieties, either being strike or evasive V-reversals. While evasive V-reversals can sometimes be used to punish certain moves that have lots of recovery in creative ways, most people would argue that it's preferable to have a strike V-reversal, assuming it's one that knocks down on hit. V-triggers especially play a big part in how a character is going to perform, as you're guaranteed to get at least one per round, assuming you're not spending all of your V-gauge on V-reversals. With the introduction of AE, all characters now have 2 V-triggers to choose from. There's quite a few characters that have 2 equally viable choices to make, granting them new and different options when approaching certain matchups. In the end, the biggest difference between a good character and a top tier is about having something that can be abused in your toolkit. Abusable in this case either refers to a move that is way better than any other move of the same type, or something that can be used in a multitude of situations without having to worry too much about getting punished. A great example would be Rashid's Like Spinning Mixer. Rashid players can throw out this move in neutral to try and catch the opponent walking forward or pressing a button, and then confirm it into a knockdown. Since it has little recovery, it is very hard to whiff punish, and it's also safe on block if not matched, being only -2. Akuma's Crouching Medium Punch and Crouching Heavy Punch are both a good example of this concept. They're both +3 on block, with one of the two even being a crush counter. This makes it very scary to press buttons when you're pressured by Akuma, who can then condition his opponents into standing still to walk forward and keep the offense going. Finally, Abigail's crazy combo damage and stun output is considered by many another instance of this. Thanks to his back hard punch loop during V-Trigger 1, he's able to pull off some extremely high numbers and possibly even stun certain characters in a single combo, making no lead safe against them. So to summarize, when you're looking at a character to determine how good he is, keep in mind these bullet points. How many tools does the character have? How strong are these tools? Does the character fit in the current meta? How well does he fare against the other top tier characters? How strong is its V system? And finally, does he have any abusable stuff? Hope this video helped you understand what it takes to make a character strong in SF5. Make sure to tune in the future for more content like this. Like, favorite and subscribe to the channel to stay updated, and until next time.